All right, another tutorial on high level is the basic fundamentals of email marketing, which is creating and sending email campaigns. And let's go over that right now. All right, so let's go ahead and create a campaign. So let's go to marketing and then click on campaigns. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to create a campaign based off of a blank template. And then another one, the next part, I'm going to show you how to create a campaign using the template that we just created before. So let's go and click on new. And when you get to new, you will see blank. So let's click on blank. Now you have two choices. One to use design editor and the other one is a code editor. I would not recommend code editor unless you know HTML. So you're gonna pick design editor and that will give you a blank, right? So what I would recommend is put in an element and we'll start off with heading. Now, um, you can put these other elements. If you choose to decide you want to add in an image, you could put in an image as well. And you could just delete that, or if you choose, you could put in a logo. Just like what we did with the template, you can create your own as elaborate as you want or as simple as you want. So typically when I want to create a simple template, I would delete if I want to send an email that's just a straightforward text-based, I would just delete everything and just put in here the words. And there you go. You have a simple template that you can utilize, just email, just plain text, and that's pretty much it. All right. And so let's go back. And what we're going to do is we are going to now, if you wanna change the name here, you would just change it, like I said before, just change the name here. So this would be a text-based email campaign, right? Campaign, right? And then click save, and then click back. Now, if we want to use a template that we created before, it is in this folder. You double click there, and then you click on this Gallaudet Club, right? And now you have this template, and now you have the ability to modify everything that's here. So let's go ahead and delete everything here. And this is where you put in your copy. Okay, let's assume that, you know, uh, dear A, and then here you can put in your custom value for the person, say the name, right? And so this is your opportunity to customize it by putting whatever field that they have. So if you need to put in their um, email, phone number, or any of that information within the contacts, the information that you have in your database, you can update it here using custom values. Now, let's go ahead and click save this, and let's call it Gallaudet. This would be called Gallaudet Club. Let's call it, since we're in February, this is going to go out March. You can name it March 2024, right? And I always like to save often just so that you don't lose your work. Now, if you want to send the test data, you click on this three icon bar here and then send test email, and this will be from email. So in this case, the from email is and then sending a test email. And then you would update the subject here. So this will be, let's say, Gallaudet Club edition, March 2024. And then let's click send email. Now in this case, it doesn't know the first name, so this will be probably blank. So let's go to the email. And as I told you, the name doesn't appear because it doesn't have it in uh, when you send a test. So typically when you send a test, it'll just go out via email and not necessarily not have the first and last name or any of the custom values that you put in to the campaign. So as you can see here, it puts in the address. I'm thinking maybe it might be better. So this is wrong because as you can see, it has the address and then it has the city and state. And so that you can see that has to be modified. And so I would definitely change that in the template and as well as the current email campaign. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So this, as you can see, it says full address. So the full address is shown. So I would, um, this other information is not necessary. But if you wanted to put it into 2 lines, then that's a whole different story. So maybe you'll get rid of this. If you want it in 1 line, you could technically use the full address. In this case, what I'll do is account and then address line 1. So it might actually be this one right here, right? So as you can see, that says address as opposed to full address. The first one is full address right there. So I wouldn't use that. Get rid of that. And then what I would do here is to make it look a little bit nicer, I would put it, I'm going to put press shift. So when you press shift, it's not a hard return, but it is a soft return, which will leave it a little bit closer as opposed to if you press return, as you can see, that's a hard return and leaves a bigger spacing because that's a paragraph, right? So whereas if I press shift return, it will put it closer together. I'm going to save it, click on that and go to the bottom. As you can see now, it looks a little bit better, right? With the 2 separate lines. And now if you want to make it a little bit more compact, we can make the font a little smaller if you prefer. Okay, so I'm okay with what it's looking right now. So what I would do is I would now just make sure that put in the spacing here, and I'm gonna copy this and make sure that the template gets saved. So what I mean by that is I have to go back to template because we actually made changes to the template. We're now going back and updating the template according to the current campaign that's going out. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go here and I'm going to delete and then paste. And as you can see here, there we go. Now, just to get the formatting, the spacing correct. Okay, I would do that just to clean it up. Say template and go back to the campaign. So I believe this is the one that we were saving, or this is the one that we were working on. And I'm just going to go here and make sure that the spacing is right. So 1. All right, so that looks good. And this is what we're sending out. So once you have everything set up and you've tested it, so typically when I send out a campaign, I will schedule it. And you can schedule it so that you can send it out immediately. What I typically do is I send it out to a test group of contacts first, and then once that looks good and I check all the links, then I would send out a to the rest to all of your newsletter, and typically I would create a tag for that specific list of people that you want to send to. So let's go ahead and go through the process of sending or scheduling. So let's go ahead and send. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky. When you're testing, typically when you're testing, you're only probably testing to a couple of email. I usually like to send a test email to a custom domain that is with the business address, and then I like to send one to my personal, which is a free Gmail account, so that I see that it whether it's going into the potentially the spam or the promotions, and then I tweak it. And then once I'm okay with everything, then I send it out to my whole database. Now, when you're sending out for the first time, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you are warming up your email domain. And so what that means is that if you have a email list of, let's say, 5,000 people, you don't want to send out 5,000 emails all at the same time, because if you have a fairly new email, most likely you're going to get blocked, or they think that you're spamming. So what you want to do is you want to warm it up. And so what that means is, let's just say hypothetically, if you have, let's say, let's do an example. Let's say you have 1,000 people email list. So what I would do is schedule it where you're sending 25, or let's just say 20 every 5 minutes, right? Every 5 minutes. So what that means is that if you divide 1,000, divide that by 20, I'm not going to do the math. I'm going to just use a calculator for the purpose of this. And so let's just say 1,000 divided by 20 is 50. So then it will happen 50 instances, multiply that by 5 minutes. So then times 5 minutes, 250 minutes. So then this campaign to reach 1,000 people is going to take 250 minutes, right? And what is that? If you divide that by 60, divide that by 60, it's going to take you about 4 hours, a little over 4 hours, right? So it's equivalent. So this campaign will run over 4 hours, and when you schedule it, okay? Now, the next time you run this campaign, you maybe, instead of doing 20, you can do 40 every 5 minutes, right? And so you keep on, and then the next time you run the campaign, you can do 80 every 5 minutes, right? Until you get to a point where you can send 1,000 at that, you know, in one instance, because now you have warmed it up to a point where your your internet provider, as well as the receiving, knows that you deliver you send 1,000 emails on a regular basis, and so they've accepted that, and now you can send it all at once. So this is kind of the process of warming up your email. Send now is where you will send all of the set category of people that you're sending. You'll send that out now. Schedule is you're scheduling ahead of time to be sent out at a specific time. And then batch schedule is you're scheduling it at a certain time to be set at a certain amount every whatever time interval that you have set. Okay. So in this case, let's just say that you are going to schedule it for at a time, maybe on Monday at, let's see, this is in military time, as you can see. So let's just say that you want to send it at noon, right? And then you confirm. So it's going to go. And this is where you set the batch quantity. So you'd say 20 and repeat after every 5 minutes, right? And then you can set it to send it out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, any day of the week. I typically don't send emails out on Sunday, so I'll check that off. And then here you specify the start and the end time. So if you only want to send emails from, let's just say, 8 o'clock in the morning to 5, or maybe 8, maybe let's say 7 p.m. Now, this is based on your time zone, right? And not the recipient. It is based on your time zone. And then you put your sender's email here. So this is the email that the recipient will see. And that is the email that you have set up with your dedicated IP email. And then this, if you want to change the name of the sender, you can just leave it blank, or you can put in here. In this case, with Caladat Club, it is Sherry Baguette. Okay, and then of course you would change here the subject line. You always make sure you always verify and take a look at the subject line. In this case, it is the Caladat uh, Grill. Caladat Club. This is the 2000 March 2024 edition, right? But of course, you want to make sure that you create a subject line that is going to get your emails open. Okay, so I do recommend that you work on that. And then this preview text, just to for those that don't know what this preview text is typically. Let me show you an example. So let's go to my email. Here's an email from Centric Ascend. And so it says right here, protect your patient and practice data. Um, and that is the preview text right there. Data protection that helps you focus on care, because when I click on this, there's no, the first item that says cyber breaches, right? So that's a preview of what is in the email. So that is what a preview text is. Here is recipients. Here is where you can individually select the contacts. You can select a smart list. If you don't know what a smart list is, that's something that you can look up in the help docs, or you can choose contacts based on tags. So in this case, the tag in this case is let's go Caladat Club, and as you can see, there are 48 contacts here for Caladat Club. Now, this advanced condition is between now and the send date. If there was additional people that were added to this um, tag, do you want to send it? And yes, include them, or you say no, only send to those contacts that are currently linked. If you select yes, that means that anybody that is added to that tag will get included in the email. So let's just say you schedule an email a week from now. Anybody from now till a week, if you want to include them, you say yes. If you don't want to include them, you say no. Okay. And then once you have set everything, then you go ahead and schedule. And then at this specific time at 12 noon at February 26th, it's going to start sending out 20 emails every 5 minutes until it's completed. So what I would recommend is that before you finalize and do a batch schedule or send all, I would definitely create a tag or a smart list and create a list of maybe 2 to 3 email addresses that you could send out as a test, and then send it out. And then once that's sent out, then you can. What I would do is I would set this as a test, right? Usually, typically, I will put in here as a test, and then you can copy that campaign over again, and then send the finalized one. Finalized. So final be, you can name it final. So that way, um, this is for internal. This name right here is for internal purposes, right? So I hope that helps.